What's up, party people? Your man DJ Silver Knight, the party fanatic, checking in for another DJ tutorial. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Mixers! Now, what does a mixer do? DJs use a mixer to make seamless transitions from one song to another using faders, crossfaders, EQing, and queuing. That's not a cue right there. Queuing. Right here. DJs use different sources to get sound into the mixer, plugged into the back of the mixer generally, such as turntables, CDJs, DJ software on a laptop, or even your phone. We use headphones plugged into the mixer in order to hear the next song before the crowd hears it. Most DJ mixers are 2 channels, like these 2 here, and I'm going to show you a 4-channel one a little later. The channels are numbered, the left channel being 1, the right channel being 2, thus the phrase on the 1s and 2s. Each channel on a mixer has a source plugged into it, so you have your separate sounds, left side, right side. Now, let's jump into some more mixer functions and get a little closer, all right? All right. So this mixer right here is an older mixer I've had for a little while. It's kind of been laying around, so I figure I'll start with this one because it's a pretty basic mixer. It does have a couple of onboard effects that some of the even more basic mixers don't have, but still a good mixer to start with. So let's start with the basics. Right here, channel 1 says it there. Channel 2 says it there. That's 1, this is 2. And this is your crossfader. So you're able to cross into the other channel, back and forth. Each one of these notches represent the level of sound as it's going into the next song. This being at its absolute loudest on channel 2, this being at its absolute loudest on channel 1. Now, this mixer has some kill switches for bass, mid-level sound, and treble or your high sound. So if you hit that button, it's going to cancel out all the bass or low end. Same thing for the mid, same thing for the treble. Not all mixers have this. For this being a basic mixer, it has a couple extra features that most basic mixers don't have. So your EQs or equalizers, bass, that's all the way out, that's all the way up. I wouldn't know why you want to do that. This is for your mid, all the way down, all the way up for your mid, all the way down, all the way up for your highs or your treble. So where this is channel 1 volume for that particular track, whatever song you're playing on channel 1, all the way up, all the way down, right? This is a gain. So what happens is if you need a little more gain, if it's a low signal, you can pull the gain up here. So it's almost like a second volume control, okay? On this mixer, here's your mic EQs. So your mic gain, that's your volume for your mic bass, and mic treble. So when I talk on a mic, for instance, I have a pretty high frequency sometimes. So I keep most of my mic treble or highs, I keep that right in the middle. Sometimes I add a touch of bass for my voice. It depends. Sometimes I can cut it back. It depends on just what mic I'm using or how loud the sound is in the club. Look at this. Just look at this side of the mixer. Not counting the mic. Don't worry about the mic. Okay? Don't worry about this. Just worry about the EQs, bass, mid, and treble, your gain, channel 1 up and down, and you can even worry about your kill switches. So right now, only worry about this little panel, right? So all of this, whatever you do here, affects channel 1. It does not affect anything going on channel 2, okay? So what gets real cool is as you start getting better with your mixing, your EQing plays a big part because sometimes you can cut the bass all the way down as you're mixing the songs over and make your transitions even more smoother. Because that's the whole goal. You want smooth transitions, especially if you're rocking a party crowd, they're dancing. You don't want just train wrecks of a transition. You want to be as smooth as possible. And as you see on this side, channel 2, you have the same controls. Bass, mid, treble. You have its own gain, own kill switches on this particular mixer. And if you notice right here, channel 1, channel 2. This is what's called your cue. So what happens here is, you see your headphone jack? You have your headphones. This is how you can hear the side that you're getting ready to mix into. So let's say channel 2 is playing a song. The crowd can hear that. I'm going to cue channel 1 so I can hear it in my headphones. They can't hear what's going on, so I can see how my bass is going to sound and mids and treble, however I turn down. If I need to cut my gain up right here in your cue. And as I blend it in with the crossfader, I can put that over to channel 2 and hear what's going on in my headphones. Okay? And this is my volume for my cue gain. So gain, another word for volume. Also on this particular mixer, I can tell my cue what I want to hear. I want to hear the master. Do I want to hear the effects that's built in on this one? Or do I want to hear channel 1 and 2, which is generally where you want to hear it. And then you have your master. That's your overall sound. So if you think about it, for each channel, you have a volume here, a gain, gives you some more volume, and then this is your overall master volume. You have a lot to play with your EQing and gain and channel volume to bring in a good transition. Now these have some built-in effects that you can tell which side to go to: tape, echo, flanger, different reverbs, phasers, filters. A lot of DJ programs have those built in already as well. Let's turn it around. If you turn this bad boy around, now we're looking at our outputs and our inputs. Channel 1, channel 2, because this is just a 2-channel mixer. And let's start here. These two guys here. See that? This is for grounding a turntable. If you're interested in using turntables, it has a wire that comes out the back of a turntable, and this is what it wraps around, and you tighten that down for channel 1 and channel 2, or your left and your right. Line and phono. I don't know if you can see that. Line and phono. Very simply put, line is going to be your typical CDJ or anything that's not a turntable. Phono is only for your turntables. Okay, what happens is your analog turntables give a lower signal, so that helps boost that signal for that particular channel. And it has its own left and right. See the red and white? White is always left, right is always red. That's for your phono. So if you're plugging in your turntables, you plug them in here. Your CDJ or any other digital type of line, you just plug it in line and make sure you turn that over to line. Same thing for this particular channel. Channel 1, channel 2, very, very easy. Your microphone as well. Mic, this particular one is a 1/4 inch in, or it looks like a big headphone jack. Some of them are XLR, which is the three prong. Hold on, let me grab that real quick. That is a 1/4 inch mono. I'll get into that at another time, okay? And these are, or this is a XLR cord. I have it kind of wrapped up, but this is one end, this is the other. And I just have it wrapped up so it won't be so long, okay? This particular mixer has, this is your out from your master. So like I said, you have a master volume there, right? This is your master out 1/4 inch going into a speaker, left and right. Okay, so mono basically is coming, there's no sense in having a stereo cord for a mono signal. So this would go into a speaker, and then it would have a second cord that would go into the other speaker, okay? Now the only thing that this mixer is kind of missing, it doesn't have a booth out, and I'll show you on the other mixer I'm about to bring out in a second. It has a booth out, so it's a third speaker, or it is the DJ speaker that has its own volume control that will be inside of a DJ booth, so I can hear my mix and hear what you're hearing, so I can do that much more smoother transitions. So I'm gonna show you a different mixer. Hold on. Oh, it's a lot more going on with this mixer, but it still has the basic functions as the other one that I was just showing you, the Numark, and I'm gonna grab it. So it still has the basic mixers, channel 1, channel 2. It still has your, where you had your gain here and your gain here for each channel. This one just has it up here. You can't see that. This one just has it up here and still has your EQs bass, mids, and treble. Still has a bunch of effects, but this one adds cue points, which is basically being able to mark a particular spot in your song to be able to quickly get to it. But it's still left and right, line fader, cross fader. Where this had the cue here, this one has a cue here and here for each channel. And a bunch of other things I'm not going to jump into because this is just basic mixer functions. But I really brought this one out to kind of show you that no matter how sophisticated you get with your mixers, it's going to have the same basic functions, okay? Channel 1, channel 2, crossfader, channel 1, channel 2, crossfader, cues, your EQ, bass, mid, treble, bass, mid, treble, your gain here, your gain here. So each channel has the same thing, and it's always duplicated because you have two tracks, right? You have two, your left and right. Remember, ones and twos, 1, 2. This is all for 1. This is all for 2 individually. Same thing as this one. This panel is for 1. This panel is for 2. What I do love about this particular mixer, and probably why I don't use this one at all, if anything, I don't use this one at all. It has a booth out, which is very, very important to me. So, see. This is your booth out with this individual control, okay? And on the back, again, the same basic features, but this one is, of course, a lot more going on. So, this one is, of course, like I said, a range 62. So it has built-in Serato. This is for one computer. This is for the second. This one has XLR outs from your main. Remember, the other one had 1/4 inch. This one has XLR outs. And the booth out, that will go to a totally separate set of speakers. Only for the DJ. This is usually inside the booth, only for the DJ. And it has its own volume control. So you have a left and a right, right? Okay. Now, this one has a session out. Session out, another set of speakers. I use it if I want to record to a separate source. If I have a handheld recorder that I want to get another line out and another signal out, that's what I use a session out for. And it has a volume out for it as well. And I can go in, I can bring another source in as well. Channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and channel 4. Now, I know you're saying, well, hold up, Silver. How do I get 3 and 4 and it's only 2 channels? So this, again, a lot more going on. You see these buttons right here? They turn. So, still channel 1. Forget about everything else but channel 1 and its own panels right here. See, it says program 1, only focus on that. In program 1, you see where it says source. It has 4 different things. A, and that's a USB signal, that's computer 1. 1, 2, and B. So on this one channel, I can switch between these sources. And then the same thing for program 2 or channel 2. I have A, 3, 4, and B. So I can have a whole lot of different things plugged into this particular mixer. I can have a turntable there or a phono, switch to phono or CDJ, and across the board I can have the same thing on each one. All right, so in program 1, I can have 2 things hooked up. Program 2, I can have 2 things hooked up. So if I'm going between a bunch of DJs or a bunch of different sources, you know, I'm there, I'm good. And same thing for your mic. Here's your mic input. Now, what you'll notice cool about this particular mic input, there's two different ways you can plug a mic in. And anytime you see something like this on the back of a speaker or anything, this is two different things. This is a XLR in and a 1/4 inch in. Let me show you. XLR. In. See that? Take that out. Now, what if the back of your microphone is 1/4 inch? 1/4 inch. See how that plugged in the middle? There's a hole there. So anytime you see a hole in the middle of a circle ring like that, it's both. Now I'm going to go over to a controller and show you a couple things. So this is a Pioneer DDJ SZ. This is the first edition controller. This is one of the biggest controllers they make. And if you look at it, it basically has 2 CDJs and a 4-channel mixer. So it's the same concept. You only get an extra 2 channels. So again, you can add more sources. Now this one is a little different because you have 1 and 2 in the middle. So this is 1, this is 2. And then you have 3 and 4 to add your other sources. But you still have your line faders and you have your crossfader. So you still have the same basic components. Channel 1, this whole thing is channel 1. You have an effect station. So when I cut these effects on, whatever I do here affects channel 1. You have your bass, mid, and highs, and you still have a gain. So it's still the same basic functions. And on the back, you have a lot of the same basic functions. But you have a master XLR out. You have a master 2 out, so you can run it to another set of speakers. You have a booth out. You have a signal if you want to hook up turntables. Each channel has their own ins and outs. You have a mic that has, remember I told you that dual one? So you can plug one in there. Or if it's an XLR, you plug in the whole thing. And a second mic on this one. And you also have 2 USBs for 2 different computers, and then your power. See this curve? Crossfader curve. Some of them might just say simply curve. The crossfader curve function of a mixer basically dictates how the crossfader is going to act between transitions. If you have it all the way to the left, as you start bringing your crossfader over from channel to channel, it's going to gradually increase the sound until you're all the way to the next channel. If you have it all the way to the right, it's going to be sharp. So as soon as I cut this crossfader over to the next channel, it's going to get full volume of what that channel is given. So these are basic functions of a mixer that as we go through these tutorials, it's going to be very helpful to really help you understand what I'm doing and how to do it. Any questions, leave comments below, and I'll try my best to answer each and every one of you. Your man DJ Silver Knight, the Party Fanatic, and that's my mixer tutorial. Thank you.